I'll be building this sled out of 3/4 inch plywood. That's what I recommend you use as well. And as a big thank you to all my subscribers, I was able to reach the 3,000 milestone recently. These plans are free, completely free. Actually, no, it's not free. No, if you aren't subscribed, you have to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, and then it'll be free for you. Otherwise, you have to, I guess it's still free, but you're a good person. You're not gonna not subscribe. Anyways, let's build this thing.
First, we're gonna cut the plywood into manageable pieces. Please be patient with my dad. He cuts a little slow. Finally, this is the base of the crosscut sled. Next, we're gonna cut a similar piece for the front and the back of the sled. I'm sorry, guys. Just give him a minute. My grandma cuts faster than that.
Okay, this is where I draw the line. Give him a mic. You can't roast me on my own channel. Have kids, they say. Sorry for that rude interruption by my daughter. Anyways, you'll notice here in a second that I started to cut this down and it started smoking. And not like Snoop Dogg, more like calling the fire department. I need to change that blade, so I'm just saying it before you say it, because I know you're going to say it. Anyway, so I'm still cutting these down to manageable pieces. This will actually be the base of the crosscut sled. And next I'll be cutting down the strips for the front and the back. This build is honestly really easy. And I know I don't have a riving knife. I actually just purchased a saw from Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know what the guy did with the riving knife. Maybe he ran out of knives in his kitchen and he borrowed that one. And then he misplaced it because he couldn't find it. And now I'm having a hard time finding a riving knife on the internet, like a replacement one. So I'm living life on the edge here. Yeah. Now that I got the front and the back fences cut down to the correct width and to the correct length, I'm going to let these sit with some glue overnight along with some clamps so they can really bond together like husband and a wife on their wedding day. And you get the point. Like they're going to be really stuck together. Yeah. I really don't think I have enough clamps. I know there's like 6 or 7 clamps, but I need more. And plus I need to build a clamp holder. Would you be interested in a video for a clamp holder? And of course, there'll be plans, and you'll get it if you want it, obviously. Let me know in the comment section. You're my boss. I do what you say. Now, this current step is totally optional. I'm just using this because I have it. So when I built my miter saw station, I used some black Formica for the top of it, and I just have all this excess / extra, and I might as well just put it on there so it looks cool. Is it like functional? Probably not. I don't know. It just looks good. So I used it. So you can just bypass this step altogether. And this was like last minute, so I didn't have the proper tools I needed to do this. Clearly, I'm putting this on with a scraper. I'm spreading this out with a scraper. And actually, I had the tools. I just forgot the right way to do it. The best way to do this is by using a roller to roll it on, like a paint roller. I don't know why I thought a scraper was a great idea. But eventually, I got it right. And as you can see, you have to apply the contact cement to both surfaces, on the wood and actually on the laminate as well. And then you have to let this sit and dry until when you touch it with your fingers or whatnot, it's not sticky at all. However, you best be careful to not let that contact cement, make contact with each other, because once that happens, there's no going back. It's done for. So that's why I use those pieces of wood to kind of keep it separated until I have it aligned properly. And best practices is to use some kind of a roller to roll this on there, but I didn't have a roller, so I used my hands. So it couldn't be a project of mine without, stuff not hitting the fan, because this over here is ridiculous. I completely misaligned. I know you saw me struggling a while ago. Let me show you. Look at that right there. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna let it stay. I'm gonna let it stay as a reminder to me. I don't know what the lesson is, but it's gonna be a reminder. I stand corrected. Hands, elbows, and forearms. Mr. Miyagi style. After I stacked all the paint and the rainbow on here, let it sit for an hour. Let it sit for a couple hours, and then went around the edges with a straight bit in my router just to kind of clean it up, and then I went over it with a round over bit. I had to do a quick test fit to see, kind of what the project is looking like. It's kind of coming to life. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little excited. So I got this 4-pack of runners from Amazon, and turns out they're the wrong size. It should be a little bit longer, but I figured I'll just make it work. Probably do 2 on each side, because this is a big miter sled. Crosscut sled. So I'll probably just do 2 on both sides for the runners. Yep. Because surely one wouldn't be able to do it. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Yes, you can. You can depend on me. Right here, I'm just getting the base of the sled kind of like aligned to where I'd want it to be, and then just kind of lock my fence in right there so I can use it as a guide. And then I'll be using some pennies in the miter slots. And then make sure when you're laying these down, some of these come with a chamfered opening. Make sure the chamfered opening is facing down, because that's where your screw is gonna go. Otherwise, you're just making a lot more work for yourself. To attach the sled to the runners, I'll be using some CA glue just to kind of temporarily hold the runners to the base of the crosscut sled, and then I'll permanently fasten it with some screws. Ooh. Nice. This is another area where if you're trying to keep it simple, you can absolutely avoid doing this section. The reason why I switched it out to my dado stack is because I wanted to put T-tracks in the crosscut sled so I can add some hold down clamps for whenever I'm making cuts, sketchy cuts, because I always find myself making those cuts. I don't want to get my fingers too close to the blade, so I can use those clamps to kind of hold it down. At this point in the video, the clamp isn't here yet, but I'll show that to you later on. While I have the dado stack installed, I went ahead and did a test fit on this random piece of wood because I wanted to make sure it's gonna work great for the T-track that I'll be putting in the back fence, because I'm gonna have some kind of stop block system in place. So I wanted to make sure it fit correctly, and I highly recommend it doing that. Making test cuts.
Do a quick test fit to see what we're looking like. Yeah, I don't know what happened here, but yeah, I don't know what happened there. I know what happened. All right, let's see. Yeah, so far so good. This part looks completely ruined this portion of it, but we'll see.
I don't know if you noticed, but I can be a little dramatic sometimes because that's not completely ruined, because all I have to do is just use my chisel and just kind of help it out a little bit, which we'll see later on. Along with being dramatic, you'll find that I'm extra, which I didn't realize until now. I'm giving this thing all the bells and whistles. Again, you don't have to do all of this, but you do you. I will be adding all the links to all the items that I'm using. I'll put that down in the description. So if you're extra like me, if we're anything similar, go all out. Why not? Cheers.
All right, so the next thing I'll be working on is chamfering the edge of this back fence right here, simply because whenever I'm cutting stuff, I don't want dust to get like crammed up into here, and it could potentially like throw the actual measurement off and stuff like that. So I'm gonna create a chamfer here, which is like a channel for the dust to kind of like just go about its business, I guess. So
After this video, I am going to watch a video, because I know there's a video on YouTube on how to use chisels, because I don't think I was doing this correctly.
So here I am about to put the T-track in, and then I'm realizing that this back fence is definitely not centered one bit. On this side, this is at 4 inches. Over here, we're at all 6.5 inches. So clearly that's not centered at all. So I'm gonna take these out, and then I'm gonna center it. Okay, so I'm learning all the lessons, so before you guys even tackle your project, because you know what this is right here? Hold on. Those are from the T-track. The screws are too long, so now they're protruding. Yep, there they are. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
To fix that, I had to remove all the screws from the T-track and throw some CA glue under there. And I was lucky enough to find some smaller screws, shorter screws, so I used those instead of the long ones. Sanded it down, and we're all set. As you can see here, I'm just making my curve, like cut down the center as to where my blade is gonna go. Oh, that was scary. Now, this is where I'm probably going to lose you, because I know nothing about the 5 and 6 cut method. I only know the 2 cut method. So the 2 cut method for me is that line that I made in the crosscut sled where the blade's going to go. I just want to make sure that my fence is square to my blade. So I just grabbed this big old square and make sure I lined it properly with that curve line, and then just square my back fence up. I know it's probably not going to be, squared down to the millimeter or whatever unit you want to use, but it's square enough for what I'm doing. And once I learn the 5 cut, 6, 10, 12 cut method, I may actually go over and just do this, get it accurate another time. So we'll see. You remember the sketchy cuts I was talking about earlier? Exhibit A. And there you go. I made 2 cuts on this piece right here, and I thought I held it up to the light. Maybe not, but no light was bleeding through for me, so I'm good in that regard. The final step of this build, which I don't think, this is a negotiable area for you, is building a blade guard so that you don't lose a couple of your digits while making a cut. I really recommend that you build and this will all be in the plans, which I highly recommend you download and get for yourself. But build a blade guard to keep your fingers safe, please. This other parts on the end is not really necessary, again, but just so it looks good. And here we're back to perhaps unnecessary items, but the reason why I'm drilling holes in this is so I can have a place to mount this. I plan on mounting this on my outfeed table as soon as I build it. So, I'm planning ahead with those 2 holes, which I'll be using as mounting holes, if that makes any sense to you. Finally, using some paste wax to make sure this glides super slick, super smooth on my table saw. And there you have it. That's it.
Thank you guys for watching me build the Slederator. I think I may eventually come out with a part 2 somewhere down the line once I start using it and see ways where I can improve it. But if you see ways that I can improve this, please don't hesitate to drop that in the comment section. Also, like I said, this is going to be totally for free. Well, not the sled, but the plans are totally for free. You want to go ahead and download that. And the only cost is just to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. If you do have the little hype buttons as well, please go to town on it so this can get to more individuals. And before you go, if you want to see how I built my miter saw station, just go ahead and click on this link right above right here. Go check it out. I think it's either up here or over there. Check it out, hit subscribe, and download you some free plans. Until next time, Slederator out. So, I don't know where I'm going with it, but see you in the next one.